Hello YouTube, we're going to do some random cooking. I make chickpea pies. I have a very barren kitchen right now, and so this is going to be experimental. I don't know how it'll turn out, and you don't have to follow these ingredients again. I don't even know if this is going to taste good, but we're going to go for it. Chickpeas, for anyone who doesn't know, I'm sure most people who would watch such a thing know. It can be a sweet food. Google, YouTube, it's awesome. I've made cookie dough and various pies, peanut butter food, cheesecake. But the first thing you want to do is drain and rinse your chickpeas before you use them so they don't have that funk. You can save the chickpea juice for eggs if you want to do an egg substitute. I haven't got that in depth. I do have some in an ice cube tray in my freezer, but I haven't tried that yet. And you'll notice some of the ingredients might be a little off, but there are some rules that I haven't risked yet. But you want 1 can of chickpeas. Rinse it, drain it. Blender. Now, for the crust, a lot of people would use medjool dates. I do have the dates, and I do use them. It makes the crust sticky. First thing I'm going to make is the filling. I don't think this time I'm going to use the dates. I'm going to save them for the actual recipe that I know they work in. And instead I am going to use a variety of other ingredients. I've tried applesauce in my crust and in my filling, and you can also use applesauce as a substitute for shortening. In recipes like cake and other things, it's far healthier. In case you didn't know that, just like Greek yogurt for sour cream. Pretty much the same. But yeah, so I'm showing you these, but I don't think I'm going to use them today. So what else do I want in here? Even though I have some ingredients that are sticking to old familiar habits that I haven't broke yet, I'm going to do something I never do. You're going to witness a first. I'm going to eyeball ingredients so that I don't know what's in here. Typically, I would make 2 servings of PB2 or PB2 cocoa, as this is. Mix it up and then add it to the filling. Saying a lot of uhs today. However, I think I'm just gonna eyeball it, so I don't know what's in there. So, typically 2 servings per 1 can of chickpeas, but we're just gonna put some. I don't know how much this some is going to be. Whoa! That's a lot of some. And also almond milk or cashew milk, some sort of plant-based milk. You're going to need a couple teaspoons of it to blend. I am out of this as well. I have a very barren kitchen right now. So I'm going to add some water to mix my PB2 so it's not PB chunk. And we're going to do something weird. Substitute for the water, I'm going to use some coffee, black coffee, or substitute for the almond milk, I'm going to use some black coffee. So far we have cocoa PB2, chickpeas, black coffee. Wasn't much of that left. My coffee. extract. I apologize for this. Despite the calorific load of everything I'm putting in there, I have not been able to eat real sugar yet. So maybe you'll witness that sometime. So for now, sugar substitute. I apologize. I'm a work in progress. Don't ask me to do everything all at once. I'll freak out. Don't ask yourself to do everything all at once. You'll freak out. Artificial chemical crap for my crazy, because that's a bridge I haven't crossed yet. Someday. Sorry, buddy. Blackstrap molasses. This is chock full of iron. I'm going to put a tablespoon of that in there and some pumpkin pie spice and make it, oh, and some ginger. I don't have fresh ginger, I only have spiced ginger, unfortunately, but it'll be kind of a molasses cookie, gingerbread cookie kind of a flavor, which I'm kind of addicted to. So, if you don't like molasses, I know this is sugar. I've been able to rationalize this with myself, like eating spinach. So I'm getting there. But yeah, if you don't like gingerbread or molasses kind of flavors, steer clear of blackstrap molasses and ginger. In this recipe, ginger is really good for you. I wouldn't steer clear of it altogether. And pumpkin pie spice, all that type. But sort of throw whatever in with your chickpea that you think you might like. But the PB2 or some sort of peanut butter really goes a long way in making it sweet. Natural sugars would be best. Of course, the healthiest way would be best, but we're all a little neurotic in our own ways, so I'm going to dump just a smidge of that in there, because this is really strong stuff. Can't believe I'm eyeballing. I will have no idea how much is in this. Hershey's cocoa. Baking cocoa. If you're really fancy, you have cocoa. I do not. And pumpkin pie spice. I'm just going to use this up because apparently I'm pretty much out of it. That's sad. I'm obsessed with pumpkin pie everything. So this is a sad day. Okay. Blender. Now I made this a little bit thin, so I don't know if it'll harden. Usually you want sort of a cookie dough kind of a texture, but I'm going to set this aside. Where'd my lid go? 2 months liquid, I may have to add more beans. But again, this is a what the heck is in my house kind of a recipe. Put it in the fridge for later. Okay, on to the crust. The crust, like I said, typically I'd use the medjool dates, but I'm not going to this time to make it sticky and sweet. Just have instant oats. Still, I don't like using that word. I'm very particular about this because how high calorie it is, but I'm in recovery. So we're just gonna dump some. This is not a recipe you guys could follow anyway. So I'm gonna approximate a cup. And more chemicals to put holes in my brain. Like I need any more holes in my brain. Don't need to see my dirty cupboard either. I keep all sorts of things in there. Spices, fake sugar, silverware, hot cocoa. You know, because those all should go in the same place. Vanilla. Blackstrap molasses is how I'm going to get it sticky. That was a lot of blackstrap molasses. I actually think I need to scoop some out. Not for calorie reasons, but for taste. That'll be funky. More cocoa. There's also a lot of cocoa. I need to eyeball more carefully. I'm not cooking mindfully. And because I forgot it earlier, ginger. This is going to need a little assistance. Coffee, because I have nothing else to liquefy it with. Just a tiny bit. I know, perhaps for my first cooking video you're expecting something a little prettier, a little more organized, maybe something you could actually make yourself. When the urge strikes me and I'm really low on food, and so I have to create something out of nothing, and the urge struck me, so you're getting to witness whatever this is. I actually think that's good enough. You want a consistency a little stickier than this, kind of like a no-bake, but not as gooey. PB2 probably would have helped. The almond milk works really, really well, but we're just going to do it this way because I have no food. Fake butter. I'm sorry. Butter. Real butter. So much healthier for you. I haven't got there yet either. So we're going to spray this we're going to spray this pan with fake butter. Disaster kitchen! Take and dump it in the middle and spread it to the edges. some work to get this out of a blender. People typically use a food processor for this. I do not own a food processor. I own a blender. So we're going to use a blender because I make do with what I have. I don't invest in new things until I get obsessed with something. If I really, really get into cooking, I might invest in some specific and better equipment, or if one magically lands on my doorstep, I would probably use it, but I get along with my blender just fine. Soaking my blender so that that doesn't stick like crazy because the blackstrap molasses and everything else in there. You can sort of see where this is going. Plop it in the middle and then use your hands to make an even flat crust all the way around and push it out toward the edges, clean up the edges, and pop it in the fridge. Again, I've seen on YouTube they make little things specifically for this that, I don't know, it just seems excessive to have a specific kitchen gadget for specific things unless absolutely necessary. Especially when I'm trying to minimize my apartment. Getting there, guys, I promise. I'll even make it less pretty than usual just for you so you don't have to watch such a long video because, again, I only have one camera with no ability to pause. So I'm going to edit out as much as I can when I post this. But this. Clean up the edges. Clean up my counter. If you clean as you go, it's far less of a problem to cook. I swear. I know, paper towel. I'm not perfect yet. I'll get disposable. Right now I'm too broke to get food, so I can't buy disposable. I just have what I have. Everybody's got something to say. Can't believe I'm on YouTube because of that. Everybody's got something to say. So, crust. Then you take, typically, I would let the filling sit overnight. I would let the crust sit overnight and harden. And I would let the filling sit overnight and harden before you combine the two, kind of like making a cheesecake. And then once you put it in and you spread it similarly to the way that you spread the crust in, you let it harden again. But because I'm just doing this for show, I will eat it, whatever it is, because I'm that in need of food. Whatever this turns out to taste like, and texture, maybe it'll be like a pudding pie. I'm gonna eat it, because I'm hungry. I'm not gonna eat it all right now. I'm gonna eat it in tiny little pieces every night when I get home from work as a healthy treat, sensibly, like a normal person. I'm not gonna let it go to waste. This is randomness, but it's actually food. So we're gonna pretend that hardened, and we're just gonna put it in as it is. And because it's still so liquidy, and I made it a little too liquidy by not using the right ingredients, it'll pour really easy, but typically you sort of lump it in the middle and spread it out. Woohoo! Oh, it's not so bad. Better than anticipated, actually, for how I made this. Whoops. And it's on the floor. There you go. And then you pop it back in the fridge and let it harden. You rinse this right now. I can't help myself. I'm the most disorganized person, and in a way I have these tidy habits. You'd think it wouldn't be so hard for me to stay organized, but oh well. That's my mind. And after it hardens, I put on, typically, again, a carefully measured teaspoon. I would take out the teaspoon and I would count them and make sure that it was a teaspoon a couple of times, and then I would arrange them so that I knew exactly what was in there. They're not going to sit prettily on top. Usually I make a cute little design on top. This is not chilled in any kind of way, so they're just going to sink right in. So what we're going to do, again, no measuring, compromise with yourself. You can't expect yourself to change overnight, but you can find a middle ground, change where you can, and those changes grow. This can be a huge thing that I'm eating something that I don't know what the number is that I've made. I've never really done that before, honestly. I think anything that I've made, even if it's something like pizza, something super calorific, I know what's in there. I know every drip and drop. I don't eyeball. Even if I eat more, I don't eyeball. So you guys are witnessing a first, so at least this video is worth something. So these are Special Dark chocolate chips. I love chocolate chips. I love Special Dark. I love dark chocolate, which is good because dark chocolate is good for you in small appropriate amounts, like 1 square a day. It's actually got heart health and other benefits. So this is actually a health food. Fantastic. I have no idea how many chocolate chips are going in there, and they're just going to end up floating somewhere. It'll be a surprise. But I'm going to put that amount, however much that amount is, in here. And I'm just going to drop them in because I know they're going to sink. Actually, kind of stayed. I'm kind of thinking this smells really good. I'm actually kind of thinking this might be nice when I'm done. You won't be able to see it when I'm done because this video would go on for 2 hours with not anything going on but this sitting in the freezer getting hard. Hi. chickpea pie with oatmeal crust. I can have a slice of it. It should be peanut buttery and pumpkin pie, sort of like a gingerbread molasses kind of a deal. And maybe I'll tell you in another video whether it turned out to be edible. I thought I would share, and that's just about it. So, pie. Bye, YouTube.